Your sacred sexual awakening is about to begin. Stockholm, we love you. I love my life. I love my body. I love myself. Yeah. Welcome to your sacred sexual awakening. I am Shaft Uddin. I am many things, and I have been many things. And in today's episode of our daily love streams that we do for the people of Stockholm, every weekday, 11 till 12 p.m. Today's episode is all about how to become a Tantric GIGOLO, why I became a Tantric unicorn sex worker. So you want to watch this till the end. This is a nice Tantraversial video. That's right, I'm going to be exposing all the gurus, all the sex cults, all the hacks on why there's so much sex everywhere. All the cult leaders, I'm going to be exposing everyone. Their dark tantric secrets. You definitely want to keep on watching till the end. So I have been many things. I have been many things. But we won't go into the stories. But we will go into the juice of Shaft Uddin's career as a unicorn sex worker. That's right, that's how I started off. I wasn't just always helping traumatized women overcome their sexual traumas. No, I was providing pleasure. I was always bringing joy and playfulness to sexuality. And when women made love to me, they would say, wow, there's so much innocence here. How can that be when we're also conditioned by Pornhub and other media outlets where sex is just hard, fast and rough? Or about pulling their hair and strangling someone and putting your lingam inside of them until they're sick. Or a galactic gangbang. Like, there's this one way of viewing sexuality. But here's what, there's another way of viewing sexuality. How about if you realize that through sex, you could reach enlightenment. Through sex, you could retire at the age of 35. Hello, I retired. Got a job now. But I retired for 6 years, 2014. In fact, on August the 31st, I will be 6 years old. That's next Monday. Yes, that's right. I had my awakening. Where I stopped being a drug addict and an alcoholic. So yeah, this is all coming together in a beautiful circle of life. So how to become a tantric sex guru, how to become a tantric gigolo. I'm going to tell you my journey on how I became a unicorn sex worker. So, once upon a time, there was a young man who was a hot mess, a glittery mess. He was known as a polyamorous unicorn sex cult leader by Vice. He was a very influential person before influencers existed. He was a guy who dressed up as a unicorn, traveled the world, and he was paid and invited to make out with people. He was given all the ketamine and Lambrini that he could ever dream of, and he would have the most outrageous time. Because he was not in the health and wellness sector. No, he was a fucking wreckhead. He was a hedonist and worked in advertising, and the only way to function well in advertising is to get fed lots of cocaine and get fed lots of alcohol, which is free in the advertising agencies. Also in the advertising agencies, they do have cocaine deliveries, so you could keep on working through the night. It's just common practice. So this young unicorn, or let's call him a trashercorn, he was a glittery hot mess of a man. The only way he could ever connect was through alcohol. He had no idea how to connect with women without alcohol. That's why he's been drinking since 1993. And the only way he can make eye contact or make out with someone, which was never a problem, his catchphrase was, "Hey, let's make out," blah, 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 and he'll make out with people all the time. It's because he was shit-faced. Yes, that's right, I'm talking about myself. Shaft Uddin from the Fabulous of Unicorns, the founder, the only manicorn in the whole unicorn collective that he created. I have an advertising background, I'm a businessman. I saw how things worked and how to package things and sell it to the masses. So I could make you feel insecure and then sell you products like oil of Olay, because you don't need any of these creams, by the way. But we will say you need these creams because without these creams you would look shit and you'll feel bad about yourself. We could stop aging. Well, it turns out if you just did Tantra and had a happy life and enjoyed what you did and danced a lot, sang a lot and made heart-connected tantric lovemaking a lot, you'll reverse aging a lot more. 40 years young, getting stronger and healthier because I'm tantric. So I use that knowledge to create this language, the 10 principles of Unicornia, the way I dressed, embodied movements is like high hoof, and like meeting people in different ways, like the culture I created. The culture I created around unicorns and channeling this vision in Jerusalem about the 10 principles of Unicornia, which is all about self-love and connecting to your inner child. This is why it was so successful. So we used to actually work at kids' parties and then at night time work at sex parties. That's right, we were wild, we did it all because we were successful businessmen and women as well. So we don't really need any money or anything like that. We were just paid to party. And like I said, we were hedonists, and kids love unicorns, women love unicorns, men love unicorns. And this was when no unicorns existed back in 2011. No one was a unicorn. I went on a mission to make unicorns popular culture. My whole existence, identity and everything was built from being shit-faced. All I am chasing in life is love. All I want is to be in a loving relationship with a bunch of kids. And I've got a few houses, but, you know, the normal life. All I've ever wanted is a normal fucking life. All my schoolmates have got the normal life. And every time I tried, it's been a shit show. Like, terrible things happen. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to live the normal life. It's not working, and it is forcing me to find an alternative way to live life. So I was forced to live a life of, I never had a full-time job, so I became a freelancer. I never got a girlfriend because they didn't work out, even though I was almost married and everything, so I became polyamorous, and I wanted to party the hardest, so I found the Burning Man world. And this one time at Burning Man, I couldn't get drunk anymore. 2014, August the 31st, or a few days before, I was in Burning Man, and I was working for Bubbles and Bass, which is where I am the house unicorn. I had a very perfect existence there. I would basically dress up as a unicorn. You could just Google Shaft Uddin Unicorn and you'll just see loads of pictures of me. Or you could check out The Fabulous of Unicorns on Facebook. Fabulous spelt wrong. And I had the most amazing existence. I would wake up at 6 a.m, put my armor on, as I called it, which is glitter, horn, spandex. I would go to the camp. We were the biggest sound camp. We still are the biggest sound camp on the Esplanade. bubbles and bass. Our main gift, because it's a gift economy, everything's free. It's like Star Trek. This is why I love Burning Man. Loved Burning Man. I've moved on. I found Burning Man in the Tantra world all year round. We're going to move on to that in a minute. And what happened was, I would wake up at 6 a.m, put on my armor, go out there and serve ice cold champagne. Ice cold champagne in a desert when the sun is rising. And I would collect all the hottest women and some of the hot guys. And I would drink champagne with them, use that catchphrase, hey, let's make out. And I would always make out with all the hot women. Collect them until I finish my shift, which was like 10 a.m. And then I would take them all on an adventure across the playa, where these giant art cars the size of a house would take us from one space to another. And I was everyone's spirit guide. I had a lot of transformational experiences at Burning Man. And here's the thing about Burning Man, a lot of the Silicon Valley, a lot of the huge business connections happen at Burning Man. So it's not just a record place, a lot of stuff happens there. That was my world. That's all I knew. That's all I did from 2010 to 2016 or 17. Can't remember, but my last video about Burning Man is on my YouTube channel, A Diary of a Tantricon. So in 2014, I couldn't get shit-faced. I became a husk of a man because my whole identity, my whole unicorn culture was built on ketamine and Lambrini. That Lambrini was actually our crest that we created for our branding, which eventually changed when I started taking, like, I let go of alcohol, let go of drugs, and then I found other things, and I channeled the new logo, which is still available on The Fabulous of Unicorns on Facebook, on DMT. So constantly evolving. So what happened was, I got back to London and I had to face my demons. I had to face everything that happened and why I was an addict. So I had to do the hard work on how to connect with people sober, which I'd never done, by the way. I have never done that. Every time I'd meet someone, we'd go to the pub and have a pint. Like, I'm British, we have a binge drinking mentality there. The only way to open up is get fucked up. The only way for people to connect is to disconnect by taking something, smoking something, or drinking something. That's how they connect, because that's how they are able to be open. So that's all I ever knew. I never knew there was another option. So I started AA, NA, normal therapy. It made everything worse. I didn't want to be in a space where I was constantly saying, hi, I'm Shaft and I'm an alcoholic. Hi, I'm Shaft and I'm addicted to drugs. Like, that didn't work for me. So I literally just went to one. And then the next day, what happened was my friend during this time started a movement called Morning Gloryville, which is a sober morning rave. And I'd never danced sober, by the way. Like, I've been a professional dancer since 2000. I was always drunk. I was always performing drunk. I've never done anything sober. I hadn't had sex sober until I was 34 years old. That's really bad, because I was a wreckhead and a mess, a hot mess and an amazing drunk, but I was still a mess. And the level of addiction I had was, the doctors would say, Shaft, if you keep on drinking anymore, you will die within 3 months, because I had liver damage. And then many years before that, they said, Shaft, if you drink one more sip of alcohol, you will be on a kidney dialysis machine. That was when I was 26. So I've been a hot mess for a long time, until 2014. At that one time of being at Burning Man. And my awakening wasn't like the moment where Neo sees the fabric of existence. It wasn't the great oneness that some people feel. It was ugly, horrible, and a mess, and I was in a horrible, horrible place. I didn't know who the fuck I was anymore. So eventually, at Morning Gloryville rave, I met, because therapy wasn't working. Therapy made me want to take heroin. I took heroin and everything like that. I took all the drugs. Anything you could think of, I took it. I did it. Crystal meth with a transvestite in San Francisco. I did it all. It's brilliant. And dangerous. And highly interesting. Terrible. It was a mess. And unpredictable. So I started calling in. And I wasn't a magic person then. I was just like, I really need a therapist that understands me. So at the Morning Gloryville rave, where I was performing for the first time sober as a unicorn on stage, which I loved, and eventually we became world famous. We were on Basement Jaxx music videos, we were in politics, we were on TV, in all the newspapers. Like, we became really, really big, because I was just a weird Bangladeshi dude by myself pretending to be a unicorn, and then one hot girl joined me, and then because of that hot girl it showed that I wasn't mentally insane, which I was, but it's because of her everyone wanted to become a unicorn. I met my therapist there. She identified herself as a fairy. I understood that because I identified myself as a unicorn, and I had a session with her, and she told, and I said, I have 5 things that I want to overcome. This was back in 2014, so I'm not going to remember a lot of it. To be addiction free. To give up alcohol, 1. To give up drugs. To learn about Tantra. To overcome my depression. And something else, can't remember. And lo and behold, just in a few ways of looking into myself and connecting with her, I became all of these things. I let go of everything in a rapid space of time. So what happened to me was I ended up going deep down her magical process. I ended up going deep down her mythical path. And eventually I found Tantra. I did my first course. And, well, before that, I discovered unusual things that was happening to me during my awakening. I was starting to hear voices. Because, I stopped suppressing all my emotions. I started to open up. I started to hear my heart. Your body is always talking to you. You've heard of gut instinct, butterflies in your stomach. Your body's constantly talking to you. Your sex is constantly talking to you, but you never listen to it because we think that our brain is telling us exactly what to do, but it's not. That's just 20% of the actual stuff. The actual stuff is your whole body. But we focus most of our attention into the brain, and that's why we have so much mental illness. I suffered from depression since 1988, addiction since 1993, and severe loneliness since 2004. I overcame all of this through Tantra. In 1 year and 8 months, it all vanished, gone, fully new person. So what happened was, I started to see visions when I was making love. So if I was inside someone, I would tense my body and I would see them turn into this blue angel, and electricity, yellow electricity would fly through their body, erupt out their back, and we'd have a share afterwards. And I would say, hey, there was a moment where I tensed my body and I saw this electricity turned into an angel and all this fire and electricity flew out your back. And she said, no way. That's when I felt all this energy shoot through me. And these were, hedonistic fellow drug addicts and alcoholics. So they don't feel these things. But the fact that I stopped drinking and I was present, that's actually the key to everything, that I was experiencing this and able to do all this magic stuff, which didn't make any sense scientifically to anything, they were feeling this as well. And it's a positive feedback loop when you're seeing visions, hearing voices, but people are also experiencing the same thing because it shows that you're not mentally insane. So I went up on Facebook, and this happened not just once, but a lot of times I was having sex with old lovers from my Burning Man world, because I couldn't connect with new people because I was suffering from social anxiety because I couldn't drink anymore. So what happened was I started to do my research on YouTube. What the fuck is happening? And I put up some posts on Facebook saying, I don't know what's going on. Help me. I keep on seeing visions when I'm making love. And from the Morning Glory community, some people will say, wow, yeah, you're tantric, or your light body's coming online, or you've got a shaman's light body or something like that. So I was like, this sounds cool. And someone mentioned Kundalini, third eye, and I was like, oh, these sounds fun. And then I developed a deeper curiosity to find out what this stuff was, because I was brought up on comic books and I always wanted to be a superhero. And I was already a superhero as a unicorn. So I went on YouTube, Googled some keywords, and Infinite Waters, diving deep once again. Can I get a hello there? He popped up and he was answering all the questions that I couldn't find anywhere. And I watched all of his videos and I was obsessed by Ralph Smart's channel, because everything that was happening to me, he was explaining. I was like, I'm not mentally insane. And the weird thing is, during this time, I was meeting more and more people like me. October the 14th, did you also have your awakening? Because there's a huge number of people I was meeting, and years later, looking back, during the time of October the 14th, October 2014, when their awakening happened. Because that's when I think I took ayahuasca then, I can't remember. But that's when everything exploded for me, October 2014. Did it happen to you? If it did, send me a message. There's some messages here. Ah, Naomi, my sexy Yoda. Daniel, amazing. So what happened was I ended up going deep down the path, and Ralph Smart said the thing that changed my life. You will find the one you love, doing the things you love doing, which is a hobby. And back then, the type of women I was attracting was, and whenever a friend would say, I got the perfect woman for you, and I'd be like, is she super hot, massively insecure, has some kind of addiction problem, and has daddy issues, and is a mythical creature? And they'd be like, how did you know? And I was like, that's my target audience. But it was only until I discovered Tantra that I was attracting who I was, because I had daddy issues, I was insecure, and I was all the things that I just mentioned. So once I cleared that, I was able to attract a different level of woman. So I decided, as I'm a clever boy, right, I need to make vaginas my hobby. That's what I said. I can't connect to women anymore. I'm not drunk, so how can I connect to women? If I make vaginas my hobby, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm a dude working in advertising, was a unicorn, was still a unicorn, and what does it mean to make vaginas your hobby? I didn't know. And then weird things started to happen. Let me have some of this fine kombucha. Ooh, tastes so different when it's not so cold. So what happened was, straight away, I met someone who was doing orgasmic meditation, omming. There is a TED talk about this practice. It's the most fucking weird practice out of all the practices. I was really into sex cults because, I wasn't having sex. So when someone said, don't go there, it's a sex cult, I was like, oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I'm totally going to go there because I'm frigid. I can't approach women. I have a fear of rejection, fear of abandonment. I had all that stuff and I had no confidence. So I started this process of going to these orgasmic meditation circles, circles, in London. It is the most heavily monetized sex cult there is, orgasmic meditation. It's also the most weirdest practice. It's where random strangers go into a yoga studio. The men make a nest and they lay down the mattresses, yoga mats and pillows, and have a very expensive bit of lube, which is branded by Om. There is a TED talk about it. It's actually a really interesting process and a practice. It did actually help me a lot, but it's still fucking weird. So what happened was I ended up doing Omming. Women lay down, they take down their trousers, take off their panties, you put on some gloves. Man with a stopwatch is at the front. For 15 minutes they say, okay, now begin Omming. And then you start Omming. Oh, that's it, yeah. That's what you do. Stroking the top left-hand quadrant of the clitoris for 15 minutes. And then he goes, ding! And now switch. Then you get your second person to Om. Change your gloves, change your partner. And then at the end, they close and have a little talk, and then you go home. Yes, I was getting closer to vaginas. No, I was still suffering from crippling anxiety around approaching women. So I'd be at the water cooler, like pretending to have a drink and I'll find someone that I want to on with next week. And I would wait there. And I'd look at her and go, okay, Shaft, you could do it. Go and speak to her. You could do it. Go on. Do it now. No one's watching. Go. No, she's by herself. Just go and talk to her. Then after 15 minutes of talking to myself and looking at her and looking like a weird creep, I would go up to her and then someone else would sweep in and talk to her. And I would have to do an awkward turn around, go home and cry myself to sleep. Yes, I was close to vaginas. No, I was not closer to love, sex or intimacy or any relationships. It was weird. Super weird. So what happened was I went to Borderland, a Scandinavian Burning Man, and I met these beautiful women who were a lot younger than they looked. They were 50 and 60. They had tight vaginas. They had tight bodies. They had firm breasts. They had really firm asses. They were hot as fuck, but they were mothers and grandmothers. And they would like move and dance like me, and I was very open and moving and flowing because I took a lot of ketamine, ayahuasca, and acid, and my body was opening up through these, just drugs and parties basically. But I was moving and dancing like them, so I was attracted to them. They were attracted to me as well, even though I was a fucking mess. And I would roll around and play with them, and I say, "What are you? Why are you moving like me? What are you?" And they would say, "We're sky dancers. We're temple dancers." And these were Swedish women. And I was like, "What does that mean?" And they'd be like, "We do Tantra." I'm like, "What Tantra? I don't know what that is." And they said, "We did a course called TNT, the new Tantra." And I was like, "Huh, what is that?" And they would say it's a sex cult. And I was like, yes, I love a good sex cult. Sex cult. So I was like, okay, I'm going to join this because I'm not having any sex. By that time, all my lovers, I was too much of a mess to be able to be in any relationships. And I was too scared to talk to my lovers anymore. And I was just a mess of a man, a husk of a man, because I was so insecure. So I did my first Tantra course after having all these weird awakenings, and I didn't do Tantra for a year because one of my only spiritual friend said, mate is a big buff guy, he's one of my unicorns, hard star. He said, mate, you don't want to do fucking Tantra. And I was like, why is that? These people are super young, they're super hot. And he's like, that's why you don't ejaculate, mate. I was like, whoa, what did you say? He said, yeah. If you do Tantra, you don't jizz. And I was like, that sounds shit. I believe you because you're the only spiritual person I know, so you must know the truth. So I stopped my research on Tantra straight away because of one person's opinion. One person I put up on a pedestal because he was the only person that I knew that meditated and knew what chakras were. So, a year later, I did the new Tantra, TNT. There are lots of articles about Alexander Vartman. I wanted, because I had a lot of money back then because I was working in advertising. Also had a lot of time. I'm one of the few hippies in the spiritual community that was rich and successful. So I paid my way to enlightenment. So I was like, okay, I want my Kundalini activated. And everyone said, go to TNT, do that course. Everyone said, don't go to that course. It's a sex cult. People are raped and traumatized there. And I was like, I'm a dude, I'm fine. And what happened was, within the first 30 minutes of that course, Alexander Vartman was a showman. Everything he said came true. Years later, everything he said came true. And within the first 30 minutes, he got people in groups of 5, pinned them down and tortured them for 30 minutes, also known as de-armoring, but it's really violent. And then he de-armored to get these random people to hold you down, put elbows in your body, make you scream, and like put all this stuff of like pressure point release. Later found out what it was, but it was like holding them down so that you're going into so much pain, releasing and like being held down. And like, you know, it's, if you're fragile, you're going to get fucking traumatized and end up in a mental institute. Because that's what happened to a few people, and that could have happened to me. But I was strong, I was clever, I was smart, I was, you know, already a sex cult leader. So I was like, I'm here to steal your stuff. So what happened was, he ended up putting us on the seat, and he went around tapping the spine to activate people's kundalinis. And he was hilarious the way he was doing it. It's a proper showman. It's like, bum, 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 boom, clear, we got one, okay, boom, 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 okay, activated. And then he was like trying to do another one. He's like, this one's out, they're out. And he would like basically kick out people who weren't open enough. So I was looking around and going, okay, I'm just gonna I could see how cults work. So I was gonna play my way up to the top because I'm a clever boy. And they, like, the course itself was outrageous. Pretty much all of the top Tantra teachers in Sweden are former TNT people. It's fucking dark. They wear black clothes. The first thing they said to us in the course was, we are Sweden's, Europe's #1 sex cult, biggest sex cult. And there's like 60 people there. A lot happened on my course. And a lot of stuff that I was able to heal, like my genital mutilation. Alexander Vartman, on level 2, we had to get naked, and I've never been naked in public because my penis is deformed. Like, we recently found a hole in my penis. We don't know how it got there. I don't know what they did in that circumcision, but they fucked up my dick. And the only way I could ever connect with women was to be drunk in a dark space. So this is why I was the way I was, because of my penis. And I said, I can't be naked. And he said, he's an Australian guy. He said, look, mate, go to that person, pull your pants down, get your cock out, and ask them what they think of your dick. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll just do it. So I did it, because, you know, he's a cult leader. You do what the cult leader says. And I got my penis out, and I said to this woman, what do you think of my dick? And she said, it's beautiful. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And he said, now ask the next person. And then I went around to the next person, what do you think of my dick? And they said, wow, it's amazing. I'm like, what? And then I went around to the next person. There were 60 people, men, women. I had to present my dick to these people, and they would say, wow, you have a beautiful penis. And then at the end, after literally presenting my penis, it was a cold day. It wasn't that big. It wasn't even... No, it was semi. It was actually big. Because we weren't ejaculating. So my dick was actually, you know, a nice size. Because, you know, as a man, we do have to worry about it being too cold. The way it looks. The way it, you know, if there's enough blood in it. Then it looks better and it looks more full. So it was looking big. So I was like, okay, yeah, great. And at the end, he said, look, Shaft, I've had circumcision as well. And he showed me his dick. And he had exactly the 3 same markings as me. And I was like, dude, we're like dick twins. And he said, yeah, mate, we are. And I like high-fived him with my dick. From that day, I healed my thing with my dick. I started running Love Your Lingam workshops to help men overcome their relationship with their penises. I learned the word lingam, which means shaft of light. My name was Shaft. And I became an influential person when it comes to men's development, when it comes to becoming more of a man. It was amazing. And because of what happened there's many things that happened on that course, which I won't go into, because time is running out. Outrageous workshops. The candy shop. Mummy daddy issue stuff where you have to fuck your mums and dads. It was insane. But they did try and force me to suck dick, get fucked in the ass. Like, they did try and get me to do a lot of fucked up stuff. And, there's a lot of peer pressure there because it's a cult. So that's what they're pushing you into. If you don't appease the grandmasters, the cult leaders, you're just gonna get kicked out and you won't pass. So my name was Lady Gaga. They did call me because it's like a sannyasa name, but they call you whatever your what you look like. So someone might look like Vin Diesel or something like that. They wanted to call me Prince, but I identified to my name too much because it's kind of a piss taken away. And they said, no, we're going to take it away from him because he's too happy. And they said Lady Gaga, thinking that I would be really upset because it's a girl's name. And I was like, I love her name, Lady Gaga. And they tried to take that name away from me as well. I was a very controversial person on that course. They wouldn't let me do any more courses afterwards because I basically just stole all their stuff. They don't let teachers do their stuff. The thing is, when you become a teacher, you're just going to be inspired by other people's stuff and you're just going to steal all their stuff anyway. There's, why reinvent the wheel? Because Alexander Bartman got all his stuff from David Data. So it's all... And what they're teaching is exactly the same as everyone else is teaching, but it's a lot more extreme. Because everyone's fucking. So after this course, I was on this height of confidence. All of a sudden, I had sex. I had sex with 10 people in like 2 days. You get like examined on how well you do in orgies. And the most profound thing that happened to me was a woman said to me, one of the assistants, whilst I had sex with her, that power you have in this space when you're having sex, take that and lead your people again. Because I was a very charismatic leader who'd lost all of his sense of self because he never knew who he was because he was on drugs all the time and drinking all the time. So I never knew who I was. I didn't know how to become a leader sober. And I never wanted to be a leader. The whole unicorn stuff was, I used the Burning Man philosophy, which was, here you go, here's how to become a leader. That's how you do it. So you go and lead, because it's a lot of responsibility. I don't want to be a leader. Definitely not about me. It's about us, because I can't do it by myself. And it was a Burning Man mentality, which is co-creation. Or as we call it nowadays, cock-creation. So what happened was, I took those words and I started channeling this sexual energy. I was telling everyone about this course and telling everyone I don't ejaculate anymore. I've had so much sex and I haven't ejaculated in 2 weeks. And I would have sex with someone, one of my unicorns, one of my friends, and within 3 minutes I would ejaculate. And I was like, fuck! Shit! I don't know what just happened. That shouldn't have happened, but it did happen. And then I'd have sex with another friend going, yeah, I don't jizz anymore because I'm like, fully tantric and I've learned this tantric stuff and and I'd have sex and I'd jizz within 2 minutes. And I was like, something's not right here. So I went back onto the forum and said, the secret TNT Facebook group, and said, hey guys, I keep on ejaculating. I don't understand why with these people. And the women from the course said, are they doing that special meditation that you learned how to not jizz? And I said, no, of course not. That's really weird. And they said, you need to teach them how to do this meditation so they don't ejaculate. The benefits of non-ejaculation is huge, by the way. Like, it's changed my life, just so you know. Just check out the NoFap movement. The hack with Tantra is the fact that we orgasm. So we have way more pleasure. So we can have as much sex as we want. We become like a woman, which is amazing because women are great. So I didn't know how to get women to have sex. How do you, you meet someone, you have sex, and somehow they are meant to do a meditation? These people don't know what meditation is. Like, the people I'm having sex with are wreckheads, like hedonists, party people. My unicorns who are still drinking Lamborghini and taking drugs, like, they were having a great time, and I was going through this crisis, which was all filmed, by the way, for a television company, the Vice documentary. And I didn't know how to do this, so I thought, if I'm going to get someone to sit there and do this meditation thing, why not? And I know how to do orgasmic meditation. Why not turn this into a product? Why not turn it into a big ritual? Hang on. Then my advertising brain started ticking in. Why don't I turn it into a session? Why don't I dress up as a unicorn, give them an energy massage, do orgasmic meditation, de-armor their yoni, and then have tantric sex with them? That's what I'm going to do. This is outrageous. This is crazy. And then I designed, because I worked in advertising, I'm really good at making things look pretty. So I created a thing called Tantricorn Goddess Activation. And I created a poster, and it had all a very clear description of what's going to happen. So it's not like, turn up for a massage and I fuck you. No, it says, I'm dressed as a unicorn. I'm going to do this, this, and this. Very transparent. And here's my training. And TNT was on there as well. The weird thing was, I was so passionate and confident about this, and I just did that one course. I ended up having so much sex as a tantricorn dancing to a goddess activation person. It was outrageous. All of a sudden, I was having sex, and I hadn't had sex for like a long time. It's like, wow, this is insane. I can't believe what is happening. And the reason why I called it goddess activation was because when women came into my house, they were very contracted and like quite shy, but they obviously knew they were going to be having sex with a unicorn. And during the session, they would just open up. They would literally look different. They would leave glowing. It was insane, the transformation that would happen within those 3 hours. Eventually, TNT, the new Tantra, found my flyer that I put all over the internet, and they kicked me out of their community because I was using their thing, their name, because you had to do all of their courses to become a tantric gigolo. Then you had to pay them your profit and everything. And everyone said, you're not ready, you're not ready, you're not ready. I'm meeting people to this day who are traumatized by TNT, the new Tantra, because their guru said, you're not ready. I just did it. I'm an Aquarian. I was highly enthusiastic. I was charismatic. I was a, have a go hero. I found a new toy and I was telling everyone about it. And I was actually really good at it. And I was really, really successful. And as I was dressed up as a unicorn, and it was obvious what I was doing because it's transparent, like, I would attract the most hottest, most powerful, most amazing women because they were attracted to something weird. A person dressed as a unicorn. And by the way, I looked amazing as a unicorn. Just so you know. Just, you could Google image it. Whatever. Or you could check out my Instagram at Shaft Uddin and go all the way down to the, first 1,000 photos, because there's 9,000 photos on my Instagram. It's just my photo album. So what happened was I became very, very successful as a tantric gigolo, a unicorn sex worker. I'm noticing the time. I need to log off pretty soon. So I'm going to have to cut this story short. The way I became a unicorn sex worker was because that happened. But then something happened. The only reason why I got into Tantra was because I couldn't connect with women. I got into it for the sex, because I wasn't having the sex. What does sex mean to me? Sex means human connection, relationship. I want to have a baby and live happily ever after. That's what sex means to me. It's not a wham bam thank you ma'am. It's everything around human connection. I use sex to come back to myself. It makes me not think about the chaos in my life, but it makes me feel present. Sex is the most powerful energy on the planet. The more enlightened you are, the more powerful you become. The more powerful you become, the more people gravitate towards you. And when you connect to your sexual energy, people will just want to be around you. Because you're different to everyone else. Just by being in someone's presence who is suffering from some kind of mental illness or something, they will just calm their nervous system because of the mirror neurons. I will have the bigger energy with the people around me because I'm radiating with this tantric practice. We are given these tantric practices which we have to do every day to generate sexual energy within ourselves. The only way to become fully enlightened is doing lots of fucking hard work. Discipline, discipline, discipline. This is why I have a Viking rune which represents discipline. It is not easy doing what we do. Eventually, after my being a unicorn sex worker, being a pleasure provider basically, which was amazing, one of the best periods of my life, I went on a journey to become the best yoni masseuse in the world. To hold space, to actually be a therapist, to actually be a healer, to actually be the most qualified person in my industry at sacredsexualawakening.com, Tantric Yoni Massages. I am one of the world's best and one of the world's most renowned yoni masseuses because I am so dedicated to this path. Wherever the mind goes, the energy flows. That's how it works. If you have that single-minded proposition of I want to help as many people as possible and help the whole planet liberate themselves through so they can let go of shame, big thing, fear around sexuality and guilt, then we are on a better path to our own sacred sexual awakening. You could check out my whole bio on sacredsexualawakening.com. It basically says all the courses I did. After many years, I basically stopped adding to that because I did so many. Again, I was rich, so I basically had money to pay my way to enlightenment. I worked with the best energy orgasm people. I worked with the best yoni massage people on the planet. I worked with the best tantric practitioners on the planet. I worked with the best Tantra teachers on the planet, and I worked with the best gurus on the planet and went to the best schools out there when it comes to female empowerment, when it comes to holding space and making a woman feel safe. My purpose on this planet, according to my human design, is to find world peace through intimacy. So there is no more blaming and shaming between men and women, but transparent communication, shared vulnerability, authenticity, and co-creation. The reason why I have such amazing relationships with women is because I have such great relationship with my mother. And the reason why I'm starting to have the most incredible relationship with men is because I've just healed my relationship with my father. Only 5% of the whole Tantra stuff is the sex stuff. Boy, is it a good 5%. But the only way to get the good stuff and the transformation and the enlightened states through that 5% is to do 95% of the other work. The mummy daddy stuff, the social conditioning, the global conditioning, the ancestral wounding, the body work. Like, there's so much shit you gotta do to be a little bit liberated, to be enlightened, to be at a level of awareness where you could actually not react all the time, but to step back and be the witness. I learned everything through sex. They hooked me in with the sex. What did I find at the end of it? I found truth. I found enlightenment. I found that within 1 year and 8 months of using these tantric practices, that I am no longer an addict to anything. I'm fully free. Yes, I scroll, but I don't need to scroll. That's the only thing I'm addicted to. If I was to say something, I do more often than I shouldn't. But my whole business is online. I gotta check the analytics. I overcame addiction in 1 year and 8 months. That is rapid growth. That is a huge result. Through learning yoni massage, from learning tantric sex, from doing all of the esoteric practices, that is all on my website. I overcame my mental illness. I was depressed. I had ADHD. I couldn't sleep at night, insomnia. I had all this stuff, all these stories, dyslexia, all these things, genital mutilation. I turned all of them into my superpowers because of vaginas. From worshipping women, I became present. From becoming a healer, I healed myself. From being able to communicate and resolve conflict with my lovers and hold space for women, I'm able to have the most incredible relationship with my mum and my dad, who are both Muslim parents. They love me. They support what I do. They're also, a little bit worried because I burnt out giving too many yoni massages. That was my problem. I want to help everyone. I want to heal every woman. I am here to serve. I didn't take care of myself. I was given 3 yoni massages a day in the end. Every day. I burnt out. I suffered from chronic pain. I had a crack in my neck, which I didn't know about. And eventually I stopped. I broke. And the rest of that story is in my book that I wrote about it. sacredsexualawakening.com. Now I'm back. I've learned to look after my body. I've learned to receive. I've learned to, in my sessions, to actually move and flow and not just use one position. I've learned to move from my hips, use martial arts technique in my sessions, use better positions for my body. I learned actually my priority is my safety. My priority is being comfortable in my body because I'm using my body to help other people heal. And I always say all I'm doing is just pressing a few buttons, the same buttons in every single human. I'm making them cry, I'm making them squirt, I'm making them come back home to themselves so they could actively tell other people about their amazing vaginas. The bulk of the work comes from sexual trauma. Every single person I've met has some kind of sexual trauma because it has everything to do with boundaries. We are not taught at schools how to have healthy boundaries, how to say no. Also, how to say yes, how to express our desires. We are living in a world of assumptions. If I do this, that person will feel this. I better not do this. Did you communicate that to that person? No, I didn't. Then why are you acting like a crazy person? So basically, the key to all of this, what I learned and how to become a tantric gigolo, is to invest thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of working and developing on yourself, working with the best healers on the planet. But also you could just message me and you could train with me. But, do your own research. You'll get hooked in by the sex, but the irony that happens at the end is you will find love, self-love. You will find presence. You will find in the act of service, instead of being selfish, you will find freedom. To help others, you end up helping yourself. And that is a little bit selfish. That's why I give away 1,000 kronas every Friday. So I'm going to have to sign off now because my other business is calling me. And the one thing I want to leave with you is how to become a tantric gigolo, huh? Why I became a tantric unicorn sex worker, a tantricorn as I used to call it. The key is presence. The key is, instead of taking from a woman, how can you give to a woman? The key is how to, instead of trying to chase women, chase sex, how to become the best lover for yourself. You attract what you are. I wrote a lovely Instagram post recently, which was, if you lined up all your former lovers in a row, you would see a bar graph or flowchart of your mental illness. Am I right or am I right? I am no longer an addict. I am no longer suffering from depression, anxiety or stress. I am no longer burnt out because I found the power of human connection through trying to find love. I am the man I am today because of the women who healed me. I was actually trained and taught how to become a man by women. Let me say that again. I was taught how to be a man by women. They were the ones that taught me about my dick, my lingam, my penis, my conscious cock. They were the ones that activated my dick, my cock, my conscious penis, everything. Like they have more experience with penises than most dudes. So they have a better, like for me, they were the best teachers. Because I'm working with women, I identified myself as a lesbian. You are what you attract what you are, vice versa, and then you end up becoming what you are surrounded by. So I became a female empowerment expert, female pleasure expert. I'm in the Times magazine as a male sexpert. Boom. Anyone can do this work. Check out sacredsexualawakening.com. Like anyone can do this. And I encourage everyone to do this work. Learn to honor yourself. Learn to honor others. Learn to love yourself so you could be at service to this humanity with your unique gifts. The sex stuff is just 5% of this work. But it's important. Because most of our problems revolves around the opposite sex or the same sex. I.e. genitals going into genitals or around genitals. This revolves around genitals. So my work is called Sacred Sexual Awakening because it's just the beginning of your journey. If you work with me, that's all I'm going to give you is you're going to be at 0 point. Instead of a fucking mess, you will be just at a normal level to function so you could take that awakening and go on your own journey. I'm not a guru. You are the guru. We are all the gurus. Guru means from darkness to the light. And trust me and trust the planet. We've all been in the darkness. It's time to rise up in light. Time to rise up in love. And talking of love, please do check out my online course, The School of Self-Love. It has everything I learned to overcome everything through loving my life, loving my body, loving myself. The link is in the description below. Please do check out my Instagram. And that's how I communicate to all you guys and girls out there. This is where I live, my Instagram channel. I'm giving away 1,000 kronas on Friday. So if you want that, check out my Instagram. It'll be on my IG stories. So please do check out more of my videos, and thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel, turn on your notifications, because at 11 o'clock every day I'm here for the Swedish people, for the people of Stockholm. And if you liked what you saw, give me a thumbs up. So thank you, I love you, and I set you free. Puss puss, hej då.